Uh, Needless to say, we're really disappointed with our night last night. I say this to you, it's so hard when you have opportunities like that, and it's clear and so much to gain, and then you don't get accomplished what you want to, so you miss that shot, and sometimes those shots don't come back. But we didn't play well early in this football game, and you could see it on both sides. We weren't as clean as we needed to be against a really good club, and they took advantage of it, and they got out ahead. And it took us a while, and then we started moving it, and we started stopping them. We got some plays done, some big plays happened, and there was the energy of the game showed up with a chance to come back and get in it. Then the opportunities become so crucial that you max them out, and we missed our chance to score down there to put us within a touchdown, and that part of it was just didn't know it at the time, kind of overlooked the thought at the time that we still have our chance to come back. But we missed our op, and so we're looking really hard at we have to maximize our people, and we've got to make sure that we're putting them in the best positions for them to contribute so that we can make our momentum felt earlier in the game. And we've had some really good game starts. This wasn't one of them. This was about as tough as we could make it on ourselves. So a lot to put back in the bottle here. Having a full week seems like a month compared to what we just went through, and we got to have a great week in preparation. We're going against a crazy opponent that's doing great streaks and numbers and stats and all kinds of stuff, supporting their success. So we got to really get our game right, and so that's what we're going after, and we're going to do it as aggressively as we can. And I got to make sure that I get us on all cylinders better than we did. I'm taking, as always, I'm going to take full account for this. I got to make sure that we all are firing better than we have. So that's what we're going to get done.
Also finding balance on offense, given the talent that you have and maybe the health of some of these guys, where do you want that balance?
Yeah, well, we have to be more efficient throwing the football to complement our third down opportunities. This continues to be a sad story. We're 3 of 11. We need to be 6 of 11, and then the whole game seems different. So it's a few plays of execution, and I want to make sure that we're maximizing the personalities. And make sure that we're using our guys as well as we can use them, and that's a focus for us.
What does that mean, maximizing your guys, and how do you feel like you haven't done that long enough?
Make sure that we're choosing the best routes for the guys that we have unique talents, and we got to make sure that we're maximizing that. I feel like we're not. I feel like we're not seeing stuff. You saw the playmaking of Jackson again last night, and he continues to show stuff that separates him from others, and we just need to give him more chances. We've got guys, in different areas of our game that can do stuff, I think, better. Our tight ends could be used better than we've used them in the last couple of weeks, and so we need to get that going again. And we have some real positives. We just got to make them come to life.
When you are evaluating that, are you talking specifically about last night's game, or are those the trends that you're seeing?
I think that has the best chance at moving us ahead and making us go forward. Just looking at what's happened in the past here.
I think Spoon last night talked about needing to start more aggressively. But what kind of challenge is that against maybe the Niners and their offense compared to any other team that you're going to face?
Yeah, we went after them, right off the bat again. We've been pretty aggressive early. I'm not sure what Spoon's talking about, but it needs to feel more impact. We need to feel the impact of the shots that we take and make sure that we're maximizing those, because we made some fundamental mistakes that you make in games. This team takes total advantage of it, and they did it. We missed a backside chase on the play, and it goes for 23 yards on us or whatever it was. And that's just as fundamental as ball gets. But we flashed and thought we saw a bootleg coming back. We didn't. We just needed to play the run right. And so those little things allow you to show aggressiveness and show your attack. And when they're not there, you give them momentum. So there's a big swing that happens there.
Based off what you were just saying about the offense, do you feel like Shane's game plans lately have not been
I just want to emphasize in that direction because we're fighting to get it right, and I want to emphasize the guys as much as we can and see if we can maximize the players even more so.
You guys are 24th in terms of the percentage of your offensive plays that are designed runs. Are you, the success of the run game aside, are you running the ball as much as you want to run?
I thought we did in the second half, and I thought we did better. In the first half, we had 15 plays or something, 16 plays, and I think it was 5 runs and 10, 11 passes, something like that. That's not the balance that we want. We got to make first downs. We got to make first downs so that you get your chances, and that continues to be the, it's a bad recurring theme, but I've got to get it right.
In terms of like the season-long trend, is that the reason for it? Is that you're just not getting enough plays?
In the games when that happens, yeah, it continues to show up. That's an issue for us.
Do you feel like you have to be more involved when you have the recurring long trend of struggling up right?
I hope that helps. Yeah.
When you're going through, the team's going through a little bit of a rough patch like this, for you as the head coach, what's the challenge helping guys get right?
Yeah, making sure that we stay focused on the truth, and what's going on, and so that we don't get distracted by what guys think this or think that, and they need to get to the issues and the truth of the issues. And so with the staff and the players as well, we all have to try to make sure we see it clearly, because sometimes your opinions and your vision can get clouded because it hurts, and you're feeling uncomfortable about it, and so that's what's most important. That's why coming back together is always about getting to the truth of it.
How do you emphasize making sure you're out at the extent of the other things?
And I didn't mean that we weren't talking about him. I didn't mean that we weren't talking about him. At the expense of giving it to Lockett instead of.
I'm saying if you give more opportunities to Spencer Jacobs in the past game.
That's just an example, Greg. I'm not going to be held to that one. That's an example of how you could do it. You see a guy's special stuff, and so you try to make sure that it shows up as part of the game plan. We have Tyler's got him, DK's got him. Noah Fant has got all kinds of, they have stuff that they can add to it. So I'm trying to keep it general as I can to not directly tell you what's all that's going on.
In just a big picture sense, how do you feel like Gino's playing this season?
I think it's been hard. It's been harder on him. I think it was smoother last year for him, and he did a fantastic job of playing this week under the circumstances. And if he was a little bit off, here or there, which there may have been a couple throws, maybe the deep balls, or whatever, that might have been. I'm sure he would say it wasn't. It's understandable, for what he overcame. I thought he did a great job to overcome and be out there and competing with us and for us. But we need to help him. I always say that because it's not just one guy. It's everybody working together, being precise and on point, and come through and make the play and make the block and to help him out. Yeah, as far as we can tell, it seems to be okay.
With Gino and those numbers, how much of that is just not having the continuity on the offensive line that you anticipated versus maybe teams giving him different looks because they are more familiar with what his skill set is?
No, I don't think it's that at all. The continuity of the guys up front, that's just been an ongoing issue for us. But for instance, Abe's coming back this week. He's going to practice to play this week, and we'll see if that works. The plan is he'll be going with the ones and getting his work, and we'll see if he can get, if he can sustain through the week. We'll make the call later on in the week to see if he can go. So that's a real positive for us.
What happened with Tariq Woolen? I mean, you say you had the shoulder injury. When did that start showing up?
Well, he didn't have enough time to get. We didn't have enough time in the week to show that he could go ahead and take the hits and do the things he needed to do. Had a shoulder and a harness, and all that. So I went into the game wanting to see if he was feeling comfortable and all, and made the call that I thought would be better for him not to have to finish under the circumstances. And so Mike was ready to go. Mike was a really good ball player, and we popped him in there, and he did fine.
When did he suffer that injury?
He had a shoulder that was bothering him last week. That might have been, I think it was last week when it started.
How's Jason Peters?
Much better, much improved. He had a stinger. I reported that wrong last night to you guys. It was a stinger that he had, and apparently it's seeming like it's clearing up already, so it's a good sign.
Kenneth Walker, do you think any more on the
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do a lot this week. We're going to wait until the end of the week to see where he is. Keep him, hope that he'll get a chance to play. But we won't know until the latter part of the week.
When you see your team tackling and doing what they did in that game, what is your thought and how you fix it?
Yeah, well, one of the things about tackling is always about more guys around the ball, making sure that we're pursuing right, and we give guys so that you can take your shots and guys clean up for you. That's one of the issues that we always, forever in football and on defense, So that's one thing, and it's always about taking one more step in tackling, and finishing your tackle as opposed to taking a shot and lunging. That's a really fundamental part of it, and you got to be on it. It's always something that we emphasize, and that's always usually the key that we come back to.
What did you feel like were the defensive issues in the first half?
Well, the first drive was executed really well by them. They came out flying, and as they often do, and we weren't able to get the play we needed to get off. Then we had a couple crucial plays. We had them stopped. We had a crucial penalty in the end zone. That was a big one for us. But they were able to get their rhythm going, on us, and that's the run pass thing that they're really good at. And we didn't slow it down fast enough. They had a couple big plays that made a difference, changed the field. The play to Debo, the crossing route, was a big play that changed. We had a chance to stop that route, that concept. Really, in the second half, we played them really tough, and we had the one touchdown pass, which was a terrific throw and an adjustment by the QB and the receiver on it to make the touchdown. But it was cutting down the explosive plays really is the key for us against these guys.
On the tackling issues, are you having enough players around the ball so that they can take that step and help with the tackle?
It's always about getting more guys to the football to clean up so that the guy that misses, it isn't the glaring miss, and so it's just flying to the ball more so, better, more consistently to avoid the one-on-one situations as much as possible. That's nothing new. That's as old as you can get.
You mentioned yesterday Jordan Brooks has been playing better. What is he doing better this year?
I think he's more freed up. He's more clear about cutting loose and going for it. He has marvelous talent. He can really run, and so when he's confident, he's clear, and he knows he can take his shots. He's really he's a dangerous football player out there. It was great that he got his big play and all, but he had a lot of other plays in this game that were really, really good too.
How do you feel about your pass rush?
Yeah, it wasn't as formidable, as we would like. When they're in the play action mode, it's harder to pressure those. They didn't have to drop back that much, against us. They only threw the ball 20-something times, 21 times or something like that. So they didn't throw the ball a whole lot. But we're always trying to get better. We always need more effect on the cube.
Your pass protection last night?
Oh, We struggled last night. 6 sacks was legit, and they got after us pretty good. The ball has to come out faster against those guys. You got to get the ball out, and there's reasons why. It's not always the quarterback not throwing it fast. We got to get open. We got to get clear lanes and all of that. But we have to do better. They had too much effectiveness for us to be happy with that one.
Why didn't Frank be active yesterday?
Quarterback. We did not knowing how Gino was going to respond. We put the quarterback up instead.
Do you have a sense of where your team's psyche is right now? Just kind of
Yeah, I think we're at a crucial point. Yeah, I think it's crucial that we make sure we're together. This is a really challenging stretch coming, and they're always hard. But we got to get our minds right and make sure that we're focusing on doing the right thing and executing and playing ball really hard with great effort and intensity and all the kind of stuff that we'd like to build this team around.
What was your message in the locker room?
Basically that, yeah.
And what of this team have you seen that you think that
I know these guys. I totally know these guys and trust these guys. Know where their heart is, and the voice in the locker room, the voice in the leadership of these guys. They'll hang tough. It doesn't mean that it's easy because we're going to always turn something around. It is hard, and so it's good. It'll be good for us. It'll make us better.
Do you anticipate Greek starting against Dallas?
Yes. No, I didn't say that necessarily. If I said that, that's not what I directly said. Me being more involved in third down, I'm going to continue to be involved, is what I'm going to do, like I have been, and continue to just challenge our guys to keep looking for everything that we can look at and compete to get it right. Is that how I said it? Okay. All right.
In general, are you concerned about your offense?
I'm concerned. I'm concerned about our club. I'm concerned about everything we're doing right now. That night last night will make you challenge everything. Just why you're asking all the questions. You know, there's questions to be asked and answers to be found, and that's where we are right now.
Do you feel like your offense has an identity right now?
I don't feel that as much as I would like to. I would like to feel it, that the mix was good and we were back to the play passes that had been so effective for us, and that is a factor, that accents the running game and it gives us kind of a nice feel to it. We got to get back.